Buongiorno, everybody. On tonight's episode of Backseat Quarterbacks, we're talking about the wildcard weekend that's happened so far. The only game that has not happened is Monday night, the Steelers and Texans, and the right to get beaten, belt to ass, by Drake May, Mike Vrabel, and the Patriots next Sunday. So that game is going to happen tomorrow. I hope I don't regret saying that when we talk about the outcome of that next Sunday night. But as you can tell, I'm pretty happy. The Patriots took care of business in their first playoff win since 2018. Wow. It does not feel that long, but it definitely feels good to have a playoff win under the belt of the new regime. And they did it in dominating fashion. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how every game this weekend was a good football game, a close football game. Quality was better in some than others, but fun football was had this weekend, and we still have one more game to go tomorrow. I'm jazzed up. I'm hyped up. I'm not that boozed up. I stayed relatively sober during that game, which is surprising if you know me. And maybe the boozing starts now. Maybe it starts now with my buddy Mikey Loeb Ultra. And without further ado, here is Darren, who's very sad. So treat him with kindness, treat him with respect, treat him with love. Maybe velvet gloves. Maybe touch him with velvet gloves. Give him some sensory feelings. Here is Darren. How you doing, Darren? Are you doing okay? Are you still? I can't believe you're still breathing, but I'm happy you're alive.
Yeah, I made it. Yeah. Well, last night, Saturday night, that was a hard night for myself. Not fun. Not a fun. Not a fun playoffs this year for myself. But there was some great games. There were some banger games. Unfortunately, the Packers fell to the Bears and their matchup, and I'm sure we're going to talk about that. But I mean, honestly, across the board, looking at scores, the only game that wasn't like a one-score finish was the game tonight, which is pretty absurd for the playoffs to just get banger after banger of a game. So, great weekend of football. Horrible Saturday night of football. I woke up with a optimistic mindset for the 2026-2027 season. So we'll see. On to the next season.
Yeah. When you took my call this morning at about 8:45 a.m., 9:45 your time, so maybe I give you some grace. I was surprised because I got that Snapchat video from you at about 4:30 in the morning of you driving with Pearl Jam Alive playing and you just having a half gallon of Tito's chugging it in your truck. And I was worried for you, but it's going, I'm still alive. Hey. You're on the wrong side of the freeway, just driving down the wrong side on the Arizona highway. But I'm happy that you made it home. I'm happy you got some sleep, and maybe you're just on a bender, and the real depression will kick in tomorrow. You have a black eye. I think you might have gotten in a bar fight, so maybe that happened in the game. You got your ass kicked. You said, just keep hitting me. Just keep punching me. That game was great. That was probably the game of the weekend. The outcome was not. I actually wanted to even bet more to feel similar pain that you felt because I am a masochist. Is that the term? I don't know. I think that might be the terminology for it. If you like feeling pain, I wanted to feel the same pain you felt because I don't like having my brother down. So I was trying to feel that. A person where I'm from just announced they're running for office. And a little funny anecdote, because I tied one on last night after that game was over. And they said like one of his positions on something. And this is what I said back. This is a group chat with about 45 people in it. Nobody responded to this, by the way. This was at 1 a.m. I sent this. Did he talk about sending Brandon McManus to Guantanamo Bay for costing one of his potential constituents his rent money by being unable to put the ball through the uprights on the multiple occasions? If so, then he's got my vote.
Just in a political group
we're obviously gonna
with the people.
Yeah, but I think there's 40 people in there. No response. They took what his actual points were seriously, what he actually spoke for. He has no chance to win, by the way. He's a joke. But The the point that I'm trying to make is I felt your pain, not as hard as you felt it, obviously. And uh, if the Patriots would have had a similar result tonight, I would not be doing this podcast. So I applaud you. I actually am happy that you're here. I had a lot of gambling losses, and I don't feel like I lost anything because the Patriots won. And that's kind of where I'm seeing the light, where it's like I don't even care about betting money on these games because the Patriots bring me joy, and that's probably a positive
Yeah.
in the vice world of gambling. So, but you know what? We're going to talk about the Texans Steelers game tomorrow, when we decide if I want to lay some coin on that. But we talk game by game here. There is only 5 to talk about, and we're going to go in them in chronological order from the one that just ended to the Panthers Rams. That was on 1 o'clock West Coast time, 4 o'clock East Coast time. Um, Patriots, uh, Patriots Chargers. There's a lot of stories in every single one of these games that you can go down, starting with um, who was a winner, who was a loser outside of the teams. I mean, you're getting into the territory where Herbert has become a habit of bad performances in playoff games. He, I don't want to even give him the full blame on how he played. The offensive line is tattered up. I think they're on their 4th left tackle. The
Yeah.
Patriots exploited that throughout the night, and at the end of the game, it was just constant pressure, and he kept pulling himself up off the turf and getting helped up. And I was half expecting them to just like fold their cards and say, "Hey, Trey Lance, just finish this out." It was still a 2-score game, so I understand why they didn't do it, but they were risking him getting seriously jacked up to the point where,
Yeah.
they could really have him suffer a serious injury that can. I don't think a concussion is a permanent injury, but you don't want him to get TUA'd. You don't want him to have the fencing
Yeah.
position on national TV. So I was surprised the spotter didn't say, "Hey, get him out of there," because he
But it
got
was
hit hard
yeah.
multiple times in that 4th quarter. And yeah, say your point.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, a bad fall on a throwing shoulder too. Like he was getting again, not every time he got sacked, but he was still getting blasted every single time he was dropping back, it felt like. And if he wasn't, he was running for his life. And it's like he's, hitting the turf and having a 300-pound guy fall on you, a broken collarbone, a dislocated shoulder, if that's on the throwing shoulder, I mean, that's again, you have the whole off season to recover, and I'm sure they'd be fine, but like that just kind of puts you behind the 8 ball to start the next season. So I understand not pulling your guy down 2 scores, but geez Louise, you gotta put in a 6 offensive lineman. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just put in a 6 guy and say, hey, they're blitzing us every time. Let's at least keep our guy off the turf.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, I watched this obviously the whole game,
Mhm.
and throughout I kept seeing the tweet get retweeted onto my timeline, and I was so scared that it was just going to get broken multiple times. After Jawan Jennings threw a touchdown, it said touchdown passes in the playoffs. Jawan Jennings 2, Justin Herbert 2. It was from a Broncos fan or a Chiefs fan, right? It was not from a Patriots fan or a 49ers fan.
Yeah.
But he didn't throw a touchdown pass today.
No.
He was he was terrible. And their one opportunity to really get in the end zone, I guess they had 2. They had 2 drives in the red zone. One of them was Drake May pick on a tipped ball, and the other was an actual drive that they sustained down there. And they walked away with 3 total points. It was horrendous, and
Oh,
a lot of people were on the Chargers this game because of Drake May's schedule and the Patriots schedule. And I think that people overthought this game too much just based off of the fact that Harbaugh versus Vrabel, the coaching advantages Vrabel. You go position set to position set. The Chargers do have some advantages in that, but they don't have an offensive line. And we've seen this how many times in the NFL that outside of quarterback, that's the most important group of players that a team has. And if you don't have good pass blocking and run blocking, you really aren't going to be able to have a sustainable advantage against teams. And the Patriots exploit things because Vrabel is a masterful like tacticianer. And I was gonna make a joke there where it's like he would have been an amazing like 1890s colonial, like, you know, like he would have been if he's basically like Rockefeller, right? He would have just
Yeah.
been he would have been a monopoly man back in the day because he
Yeah.
exploits weaknesses very well. And um
Be a good war
I
general.
yeah, no, he would be. And Mike Vrabel is a
Easy.
good war general name. Michael,
That's a good
whatever his,
one.
I don't know his middle name, but it'd be Michael middle initial Vrabel. What's his middle initial? If he, this might be a good one. Mike Vrabel. What is it? Michael G. Vrabel. George is his middle
Mm,
name. I mean, George
yep,
Vrabel too, if he just wants to go M. George Vrabel. We got
that's a good
options here.
one. Yeah.
My God.
Yeah,
He would be
that's
successful
exactly
in any
taking over.
lifetime.
Yeah, he's taken over base camp. He's taken over the village. He's taken the township. That's wow. That's a
If you're
good name.
listening to this on audio, just close your eyes. If you're watching this on video, you're not going to be able to do this exercise because honestly, we look like buffoons saying this. But if you listen to this on audio, close your eyes. Imagine you're sitting there, and here comes General M. George Vrabel leading in the Civil War against the South. That guy's going to become the next president of the United States. He's going to be like Ulysses S. Grant. It's almost the same thing. I mean,
Oh
he'd be on the
man.
$50 bill if he was alive in the 1850s. This is amazing. I'm like Drake May, and I'm just gonna say like from the Patriots perspective, and I know I just started with the Chargers, and that shouldn't be what I'm doing as a Patriots fan, but from the Pats perspective, you win your first playoff game in almost a decade. And again, it doesn't feel like that. May had 2 turnovers. The second one, the fumble was awful, and I'm gonna be kind of critical of him because I do think he should be in the MVP, and after Stafford's game, I was like, "Just ball out for me, King. Let me be right on
Mhm,
this." He didn't have the best game that he could have had, and that second turnover was horrendous, where you need to
mhm.
hold on to that ball. You need to have the mental clock that says, "Hey, I just am getting hit right now. There's probably another guy on my backside." Pause, but, uh, he he, um he did not have that there, and that was a turning point could have happened in that moment where they were only up 9-3, and so it's still a
Yeah.
one-score game, and thankfully, nothing happened bad from that, and he made just, one of the better he's made so many of these throws this year, but one of the better throws of the year to Hunter Henry for that touchdown, later in the game. So he played, I'd say, like, a probably if it's your first playoff start and he has the stats that he had, which is 17 for 29, 270, 1 touchdown, 1 INT, and five sacks, and those weren't his fault. It's not like the offensive line's that good. And then
Yeah.
rushing wise, 10 for 66. Um, he led the game in rushing. So for a first playoff start, you get an A, but you do want to see a little bit of improvements from like what he was in the regular season. Again, winning this game's huge. Getting the first one under your belt's huge. They're going to be the favorite whoever they play next week, whether it's the Texans or the Steelers. And then you should win that game. I imagine they will be the proverbial favorite there. And then you're going to have a rematch against Buffalo or Denver, or you're going to play Denver. And um, the rematch against Buffalo will be at home. In Denver, you'll be playing on the road, and you're going to have the advantage either team wise against Buffalo, probably against Denver too, but definitely quarterback wise against Denver. So
Mhm.
again, we talked about this morning when we talked about your team losing the way they lost and how it's whatever to the point where it's like that it wasn't really their year. It felt like they were hampered in coming to the playoffs, but it's wide open in both conferences, and
Yeah.
it really does feel like it's different than last year where Jaden Daniels got to the commies got to the championship game because the Eagles were so good and the Lions were so good. And I know they
Yeah.
beat the Lions, but they beat the Lions to play the Eagles. And it's like, I mean,
Yeah.
talk about a murderer's row. This year, there's no
Yeah.
murderer's row. If I told you the Patriots won the Super Bowl, I would be shocked because it'd be like the meteoric rise of like Drake May and a first year Vrabel head coach. But would it be shocking at knowing the landscape of these teams? I don't think so. Whereas
Yeah.
last year with Jaden Daniels, more shocking, and that's kind of where I'm at. Um,
I agree with that.
so yeah,
I I think that would be This is the year that it really does feel like it's anybody's year. You could tell me honestly any team from the NFC that's left, I would not be surprised at all. Any team from the AFC, probably outside of the Steelers, I wouldn't be surprised at either. So this is a really weird year. The only other thing I want to say on the Chargers, I do want to talk about them a little bit. I know Jim Harbaugh's oh yeah, your Drizzy jersey. I like that. The only thing I want to mention on the Chargers here is I know Jim Harbaugh's a good coach. I know that. It that last drive that the Chargers were going on. I know the announcers talked about it a couple times, or the horrendous substitutions. You cannot do that. D- Justin Herbert was in hell with these pass rushers, and you finally have them tired, and you're sitting here to sub one wide receiver for another. What are you doing? That's like coaching malpractice. They were able to completely refresh their D line. And you know what happened? Herbert got sacked on the next play. It's like, dude, what are we doing? I get you want to have your personnel in, but call plays for the personnel you have on the field. The Patriots were not able to substitute. They weren't. They were going too fast. The D line had their hands on their hips, and Herbert finally was getting a second. And then it's like you substitute and you kill any momentum you have. At 30 seconds off the clock, it felt like. It probably wasn't that much. It was probably like 10 to 15 seconds. But when you're down 2 scores with 4 minutes left, that matters a lot. Like a lot. And they butchered that. And the Chargers need a lot. The Chargers need a lot. They need to get healthy for their offensive line. They need better wide receivers. They need to upgrade. Lad McConkey's like okay, but if he's not somebody you want as your number one, I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. Going into this, I was high on the Patriots to win this. I don't see what people were nervous about with the Chargers. I don't think that they were a good football team. Like they're fine, but they're not a team that I would take as a serious contender.
Yeah, you might hear my French bulldog get a little gremlin-y in the background. She does these things where she gets like she makes noises, and she just started to do it while you were talking, and I was trying to tell her to stop, but she's not rolling around on her bed, so you might
She's
hear her in the
getting riled
background.
up talking about the Patriots.
She listen. She came into this world the year the Patriots lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl,
Mm,
and I was trying to say, "Somebody take her from me. I don't want this dog." And then the next year they beat the Rams in the Super Bowl, and I said, "Hey, you're all right by me, champ." And then since then, though, I don't know
so
what I
she's
think of
probably
her.
happy about the 49ers Eagles outcome. You like that little transition right there?
She is, but I want to just say I agree with you on your point. That was a good
Yeah.
point that you made because um Vrabel also, again, tactician wise, you get a reasonable amount of time. There is no set duration for what a reasonable amount of time is to do substitutions. Vrabel
Hmm.
milks that, especially when they're winning the game. He's not like, hey, everybody, go on, run, sprint in there. He says, take your time. You notice they're milking 5 extra seconds.
Hmm.
Every second matters. That game was not put away. If Herbert was able to strike a touchdown, we saw your team play a
Hmm.
game where they were up the
Yeah.
exact same score, I think. It might have been 17. It was in that same ballpark where things happen. It
Yeah.
wasn't like that game was totally over, and you're
No.
wasting 8, 9, 7 seconds just to take out one receiver for a different scheme. And it's like, hey, just have that guy run a bubble screen. Just have that guy run go route to the end zone, and just
Yeah.
have him or run a curl. It doesn't matter. Just if you're Herbert, just yell at the guy, hey, Quentin Johnston, Keenan Allen, whoever it is, curl. Just curl. That's all you say. And
Yeah.
he's not in the play. Just don't throw it to him unless you're in a scramble. But it's like, yeah, it was insane. And Harbaugh's actually considered a good coach, but
Yeah.
that was, I mean, that was extreme level difference, and that's
Mhm.
yeah. We'll talk about where the Chargers go to. That's kind of going to be the last segment. I think we do each week when playoffs are over is what do they need to do? Where it's like
Yeah.
Chargers, where do they go? And then we'll do it with each team, and we'll do that at the end of the
Yeah.
podcast. So yeah, good segue. Also, you're hey, you got some chops. Um, the the next game. So what we just talked about was the only game the favorite covered, and one of the 2 games that the favorite won. So the next 3 games we talk about are gonna be favorites losing, and of course, that means the underdog also covering. Funny enough, I bet on the 3 favorites in the 3 games we're gonna talk about. So this was not a good gambling week for me, as I mentioned beforehand. It was kind of a magic trick making money disappear the way I did this week. It's kind of playing blackjack if I just push all my chips on and I get a 2 and a 3 and the delta 2 and a 3 and yeah, somehow I don't win those hands often. But
Boy,
the
the
49ers, or I get a 4 and a 9. How about that? That's what I get. A 4 and a 9 and I hit and it's a face card. So see ya. Uh the they won the game though, so it is what it is. But that game was weird because those 2 teams felt like the worst 2 teams that I saw play, except for the
uh-huh.
Chargers. The Chargers looked like the worst team of the weekend so far, but, um, the 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 Eagles and the 49ers just the 49ers are gonna have about 6 players that are able to play by next playoff round. Like, they're officially gonna be signing they're not gonna be having 53 active players. They're officially gonna be around what are they what are they gonna actually have able to suit up? I know they have less than 53 suit up, but how many can they suit up? They don't have an active roster.
Tyler Roach should put his name in the hat to go out and play tight end for him or something. He should honestly hit up Shanahan's, maybe send the 49ers admin a DM on Instagram, say, "Hey, you know, I'm a big body. I could get out there and maybe block for CMC." That's literally all they have. That's it. It's like, okay, well, can CMC catch all of our passes and run the ball every other time or not throwing him the ball? How many touches can one player have in a game? I think we're going to find out next week. Like, what is the human maximum touches and hits somebody can take in a football game?
Yeah, can CMC play 2 more years of football? Like, I think he had 415 touches this regular season was the thing outlined. This is coming off of, I guess, double Achilles tendonitis, which is a miracle that his Achilles didn't pop. And obviously, Kittle's Achilles did pop during that game,
Yeah,
which was tragedy. And
brutal.
the I think Burkhardt and Brady are the number 1 crew by a large margin, and I think that's been kind of, which is insane because of how people talk about them now, but, or how people talked about them last year. Um,
Mhm.
1
They're
sec.
way better this year. Brady has turned it around so good, and his little anecdotes don't feel they don't feel like, "Oh, I know better. I'm talking to like down to you." It feels like it's like I don't know, like you're talking to a buddy. I think that's what a good like game like an announcer does is they make it feel like you're sitting on the couch next to him and they're talking with you about the game. That's how it feels like. It's not like he's like talking to you. It's like he's sitting right next to you, kind of telling you a story that's relevant to whatever the situation is. The little bit that they did on the football and the angle that you have to throw it at in the wind and stuff like that, that was interesting. That was actually a pretty interesting little tidbit that he put in there. And I thought that was a good touch. But yeah, this 49ers team, I think they're gonna get throttled by the Seahawks. Um, they're so injured. They're the most injured team ever, and they got even more injured. And for the Eagles, golly, what do you do? What do you do if you're the Eagles? Where do you go? I know we're gonna do that at the end, but man, their offense is broken.
For the 49ers, I yeah, I don't wanna be a hater. Winning playoff
Mhm.
games are hard. They won one on the road. That's even harder. They won one on the road against a team that's the defending Super Bowl champs. That's even
For
harder.
sure.
That's way healthier than they are. But it does seem like what they basically won on was, um, trick plays, McCaffrey, who caught the trick play, and
Mhm.
then just, pretty much outdoing the Eagles game the way the Eagles play. And I
Yeah.
think yeah, to me, I don't see the 49ers going around further than this, and that's fine. I mean, I think that they got a good matchup in the first round, but yeah, it's more of a story of the Eagles than the
Yeah.
49ers because this was the one game I thought the Eagles would actually be able to exploit pretty easily. And Jalen Hurts, man, like where do you? This is again, we're gonna say where they go at the end, but whew, I do not know what he is as a QB. If there, he might just have to get a surgeon to go in there, just like open him up and like just like literally put like a scalpel in him and say, "Hey, yeah, you got shoulder surgery in the off season," just to say he got it because of how bad he was, even if
Yeah.
it's not real. Like even if he doesn't
It's
have a
crazy
shoulder
that
surgery.
this is the same team that won the Super Bowl last year. Like, he can be a competent quarterback, but man, when that running game is not producing 100 to 200 yards a game, they are dead in the water. They're abysmal.
Yeah, I mean everything. They obviously relied too much on Saquon last year, and AJ
Uh-huh.
Brown's going to be traded, and I don't even know what his value is right now. Like, is he worth a fifth round pick? I
He
mean,
dropped 3 passes tonight or today.
yeah, and two of them were huge. One of them was a
Yeah,
touchdown that was actually right in his hands, and then
yeah.
one was on what was one third down
Third
or fourth
down.
down?
The
Third
third
down.
down across the
Yeah.
middle.
Hmm.
Yeah. You can't
And
be a diva and drop those. You cannot be a diva
the
and drop this.
I agree. My one critique is Brady did not say things bad about AJ Brown, and that's because AJ Brown looks at Brady as his hero, and everybody knows that because AJ Brown loves the Patriots. And guess what? Tom's willing to critique the Patriots though a little bit. He's not willing to give his full-fledged support behind the Patriots. So he'll do it for players that support him. He should have just said AJ Brown should be playing in this game right now. He's not
Yeah.
focused. He's killing his value.
Yeah.
I don't even know what his like. I don't know who's going to trade for him, but he's going to get traded. Yeah, they have issues, and they'll figure it out. But that was a crazy result that um I kind of thought was scripted as a result, not by the NFL, but scripted as a result after I saw the 49ers go up on the trick play. I was like, well,
Uh,
this game might be over. So,
yeah.
one sec. Keep going.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know what the Eagles do if it's an OC thing or whatnot, but they're just not this. They were not the same team that they were last year. I know they didn't have Lane Johnson for a long portion of it, but I mean, then coming back to next year, he's going to be older. Is a lineman really that valuable that like you can't run the ball at all with your right tackle out? Like, is he that important? Is Mekhi Becton that big of an impact that he this team is just like falling off the wagon? And I'm sure,
The team sucks. Like they're not a good team. That's the
yeah,
truth.
I
Like
yeah,
they limped into the playoffs, but it's basically by being a bad I don't even know how to describe it. They limped in the playoffs because the rest of the division was bad and
yeah,
injured.
I agree with that. I
Can
mean,
you imagine if the Cowboys didn't trade Parsons? Like legitimately, it's not just Parsons though. They had other problems than just Parsons. They were a badly constructed roster, but it's
yeah,
like that was a big deal. I, God, I don't even know where that might be the new NFC South. Like we might have a few NFC Souths next year, including the NFC South. Like we might
mhm,
have like two or three actual shit divisions, and
yeah,
that's not good because I
I
do
know,
think there's a push for reseeding the playoffs one through seven. I don't like that. I like divisions actually mattering, um,
I do too.
even when there's a bad division. But yeah, I don't know. The uh, the morning game was one of the best. That was the second best game, I think. Jacksonville and
Yeah, that
Buffalo.
was a fantastic game.
Yeah. Um, what'd you think? How about you start with that?
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, he he had a couple of really boneheaded plays in this in this game, and I think what ended up happening with this was the Bills' experience in the postseason. It mattered more than roster construction. It mattered more than than talent level across the board, than coaching talent, than GM, all that stuff. I think it mattered so much more for the Bills to have been there, done that, played in these big high stakes games, and have the confidence behind Josh Allen to know that, hey, we have the best guy in football on our team. We're gonna figure it out. And they did. They did. He didn't have an insane game. I mean, he had 2 rushing touchdowns, a passing touchdown, 28 to 35 for 273. Like he had a good game. Um, but yeah, I just think that the difference in this was experience. And Liam Cohen called a not so great game, and then the reporter after the game, like, telling him to hang his head high. And did you see that video where the reporter was telling him, that this season was like an accomplishment and stuff? And it's like, dude, are you just trying to, what are you trying to set yourself up for next year? What are we doing? Like, why are you going in here just glazing your coach after losing a home playoff game, to, as a you're 3, what were they're the 3 seed. It's like, what are you doing? Why? So I thought that was kind of cringy, but I don't know. Jacksonville will
Well,
be good. They're still there. They feel like a team that's a year away. They'll be fine. They have a good coach, I think, for the future. This is their first playoff game together with Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence, and maybe next year. But they're clearly not ready for the big moment.
well, to start it, like, my opinion is this, dude, is Trevor Lawrence needs to show up in camp next year, shaved head, buzz cut, or straight up cue ball shaved. Be
Yeah,
professional, show up looking like Bezos. You don't
yeah,
have he has a little bit of a receding hairline for what it's worth. It's not like it's a full, nice, like, straight up, like, thick
yeah,
right there, right? It's
yeah,
basically worse than mine. I think it actually might be worse than my hairline. And the thing is, that's fine. I'm not hating on it. Obviously, I'm not trying to say, "Hey, listen to me on hairline stuff," but I'm saying, like, "Hey, you can't look like that. It doesn't look professional." We talked about that
yeah,
earlier. You don't need to
yeah,
have ultra shaved head, but it would look better than what you're doing now. Mean business next year, Trevor.
yeah.
Don't show up like that. Have a reverse Samson. And I want you to do it publicly. I want you to be having pillars in your hands like the Bible story, and I want it to be, like, set up to where, like, you're, like, I want you to have, like, the blindfold, all this stuff, but then I want you to immediately, as soon as you get your haircut, I want you to push it over and be like, "I have power, I'm ready to go play football." And
Yeah.
I want it to be edited up with, like, AI, I want you to throw a 100-yard football pass. That's what I want you to do, Trevor, but then also, I'm gonna say this, that reporter that reporter de-credential her, and that's I think where she meant to be was, like, sometimes there's these, gaggles and squabbles at the White House with Caroline Leavitt, where it's like
Mhm.
they have, people that aren't usually part of the press corps, they have, like, the people outside of it that are like, "Hey, like, the president's doing so much better than the old guy." And
Yeah,
then that I think that's where she meant to be, because what is that? What was that? That was
yeah,
actually insane.
yeah, I
That was not proper, and Adam Schefter saying, "This is an awesome moment." What is an awesome moment about that? Saying, "Hold your head up high, you'll be back." Will they be back? I know you just said they'll probably be back. Yeah, they have a good roster, they have a good future. Um, they just totally wasted their first round pick on Travis Hunter this year, who
okay.
looked like he wasn't good when he played, and maybe they transition him to be a cornerback full time next year because they got Jacoby Myers. But so they don't have a first round pick this year.
Yeah,
Um, the Colts, we'll see what happens. It looks like their owner, Ursay's daughter, actually cares about the team, actually
yeah.
seriously cares, and that's all she cares about. So I'm happy about that. The Texans have a good foundation, and um, who knows what the hell's going on with what's the other team in that division? I can't even think about
Tennessee.
that team. Oh, you know what? Tennessee has it looks like they have a quarterback. So realistically, this team or went from basically the same record as New England to first place. It looks like they have the bones to be good, but this is a game where they clearly could have won. And the coach who needs to keep his head up outcoached himself. He outsmarted himself. They get in
Yeah.
the red zone and they start throwing the ball 4 times. This was an easy win. It's Trevor Lawrence. You know what you're going to do? You're going to use that right hand of yours that should be put in a holster until you cut your hair, and just literally put that hand into the gut of ETN and our running back room the
Mhm.
entire game. He should have had the Mac Jones game when the Patriots beat them when it was a monsoon in Buffalo. That's what he should have done.
Yeah.
He should have thrown like 6
They were
passes all game.
I
So, and I'll say this. I'll say for Buffalo,
ETN
yeah,
was
Josh
averaging
Allen,
almost 7
great.
yards a carry.
Yeah, and Josh Allen was great. I mean, he did what he needed to do, right? We kind of said like he needs to put the team on his back.
Yeah,
35 uh 35 attempts passing, 11 carries. So,
man.
basically the ball was in his hands 47 times or 46 times. That's easy math. And that's what he needed to do. So
He
good for
got
him.
banged up though in this game, like, a lot. Like, I think
Yeah.
he hurt his hand, he was grabbing at his knee at some point. He got beat up pretty good in this game, but yeah, I know we already talked about this with, like, the Patriots, but just, like, how wide open this playoffs is, and for Jacksonville to get a first round exit when you have a home game, that's tough. That's not something you want, because Jacksonville's a team that I think could have been pretty dangerous, but hey, you don't got the goods, you don't got the goods. So
Um yeah, the um the thing with Buffalo is this is kind of their 1 year that I think they can maybe get it done.
I agree. I think Buffalo could get it done. Again, the playoffs are wide open, and they have the most seasoned guy in Josh Allen at the helm of their team. It's just a matter of, is his body going to hold up? You know, being the ball carrier or passer 45 to 50 times a game, like how he did, today.
No, I mean what you just said is true. He's too banged up. Like, he's going to play Denver next week, and Denver's going to get after him more than Jacksonville did. Denver
Yeah.
also has a good offensive play caller. As much as I like to hate on Sean Payton for being legitimately Mike McCarthy, that's it, and he gets
Mhm.
too much credit for that. John Harbaugh's the same. Like,
Yeah,
these coaches are all the same. They're all the same.
I
But
know.
um, the only one that gets hate is Mike McCarthy, because I guess he has decided not to have a PR team. Is he his own agent? Does he not have an agent, so he doesn't have anybody's ear? He just wants to get all his contract, so he doesn't pay the 3.5 to 5% to anybody. But what I'm saying is, um, Sean Payton's a good coach, and I think he's going to exploit the deficiencies way better than Liam Cohen did today. And
Yeah,
I give credit to Josh Allen. He's throwing to absolute no names outside of like Khalil Shakur. The Gabe Davis got hurt. He wasn't on a team for most of the year. So
yeah,
they have chemistry, but he's bad now. Brandon Cooks, if you would have I forgot that he was on Buffalo except for the game against the Eagles. I saw that he was catching passes in that game, and I forgot
yeah.
they traded for him or signed him. If you told me if I went through his football or his Wikipedia right now, did you know that he was on the Cowboys a few years ago? Or the Saints this
I
year?
did know he was on the
Or the
Cowboys a
Texans?
couple years ago. I know him for the
He's on the
Saints and the
Texans?
Cowboys. I
Yeah,
don't know what other teams he's played for.
okay. Texans for 2 years there.
Oh, yep, yep.
Uh, Keon Coleman's known for a meme, right? Shakur, there's
Uh-huh.
Tyrell Shavers. I had no idea who that guy was, and he was laying blocks out. He was in them for most downs. I don't know. They It's literally this is a heroic effort by Josh Allen to if they're gonna win the Super Bowl, and I just don't see it happening. They lost to the
Yeah,
Eagles. Let's be
yeah,
honest, like, They lost to the Eagles. That was a few weeks ago, and we just watched the Eagles play, and it's wow, that's a bad loss, and
That's true.
I don't know how to look at them. I'm not trying to hate on them. I just think that this is a team that's gonna get they might get mollywopped by Denver. I will not be betting that game in any real
Yeah.
huge amount because I do think it can go either way. It's either Buffalo wins a close one or Eagles or sorry, or Denver mollywops them. Um, I've I've been trying to just extend a lot of these segments because I know that this next one is might send you over the edge. So, um, Saturday night.
Saturday night, that fateful January Saturday night that'll go down in infamy
So
in
after
the
watching one more
NFL.
day of football, how do you feel?
It still sucks. I see the I saw the Rams play. They didn't impress me. I see the Eagles and the 49ers play, and I'm like, wow, all we had to do is hang on to this one. There's a chance that you get a bad Sam Darnold game, and you're in the NFC Championship against a team that I think, I'd feel comfortable with the Packers in that. And now it's all gone. They choked. It was one of the worst choke jobs in, you know, NFL history, honestly, like legitimately in playoff history. I mean, outside of the 28-3 Super Bowl with the Patriots Falcons and then the Packers 2014 choke job against the Seahawks in the NFC Championship. I think this one ranks right up there with the 2014 one. I I think Jordan Love is incredible. I feel for him a lot because I think he had one of his best games he's had as a pro, regular season included. He played absolute perfect football. He even gave him a shot on that last drive to do it, and guys didn't make plays for him, which is it's tough, and you hate to see that, but I think teams embody their coach at the end of the day. And I know I told this to you. I think Matt LaFleur is a good coach. I think he's a fine coach. He's just not a winner. There's winners and there's losers. There's coaches who their teams are going to find out a way to figure it out in adverse times, and when they're you know out in deep water with another team late in a game. And LaFleur is just not one of those guys. He's not somebody that I think I trust in those situations. He makes bad play calls. He has bad time management, and he just coaches kind of scared. He just coaches scared, and the team and they can sense that. You come out of the half and you run inside zone, and run shallow underneath pass that has the most vanilla offensive play call, passing play you can call on third down, and you go 3 and out on your first 2 drives to come out of the second half when you were unstoppable. It's like, what changed? How is it that different in the second half? So, I don't know. I'm over LaFleur. I think he's a good coach. I just think that they're all in right now, and he's just not somebody I can really see winning with the Packers at this moment. So that's where I'm at. The Bears, obviously, the heart attack Bears. This is what they've done all season. Caleb Williams, I got to tip my hat. He played incredible in the fourth quarter when the game mattered the most. The rest of the game, he didn't play very good. Ben Johnson is a legitimate gambling addict who is fronting as a head coach. It's kind of funny to see some of the fourth down gambles that he has, but no, the Bears are fine. They're not good. Or they're good, they're not great. I don't think they're gonna beat the Rams. I don't think that they are, but we'll see. So I don't
I
know.
don't think so either. But the the Rams end up getting a pretty good schedule here
Yeah.
going through their playoff schedule. But I I share a lot of those same feelings. I think that if they do move off of LaFleur, I think that they should look to the Rams offensive coordinator room because that's always been a good hire. Um, I don't know who that is, but whoever is coaching the offense with McVay. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I believe his name is Mike LaFleur.
Oh, it's LaFleur's brother, huh?
Yeah, imagine that Thanksgiving.
You know, I'll be honest with you. We talked about this earlier.
Yeah,
I looked that up this morning because I was like, who would replace him? Obviously, I think Harbaugh would be a bad option because I do think
I agree.
Harbaugh's kind of stale, and you're just going to hire coordinators that are going to get poached, and you just have that problem with the Raiders. You can do a
Mhm.
defensive guy, that's fine. I'm not opposed to that, but you got to pick a good guy from that. We'll see. But you go down the list, and it's like just go into the Rams coaching room. So I looked up
The
who's the Ram. I looked at the Rams coaches. I first started Rams offensive coordinator, and I just see it's M. LaFleur. And I was like, it's like fuck. So oh, you can't do that. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, we'll see who they do. We'll see what they do. I do think after watching today's football, and not to try to make this so Packer centric, because again, it's I guess this is their bit right here for what we're doing at the end. But um, yeah, it feels like they have too many of these where it's both been I guess it's both their last two coaches. It's been also McCarthy and then now LaFleur, but
Mm.
LaFleur has these moments where they just are memorable because they've happened so many times in the playoffs and
Yeah.
he they're just it is inexcusable. And I think that you get to the point where this is kind of what happened with Harbaugh and in Baltimore where it's like are we going to win anything? Tomlin's had this happen to where I really think if you're a Pittsburgh fan, you probably are wanting to lose the game tomorrow, so you have a reason to move off of him. If he wins tomorrow, they're keeping him
Yeah.
unless it's already been predetermined. They've already signed a contract saying, "Yeah, I'm out after the season." If that hasn't been signed, um, yeah, he's staying for another 3 years. Pretty much is what that means. Like it's not
Yeah.
because he'll be like, they haven't won a playoff game since what 2000. I said 2018 for the Patriots. I think it's been since 2015 for them.
Something like
And
that.
a decade? And so it's like, you kinda wanna move off of that, I think, but it's like, with the Packers, their playoff losses, even to the Rams, it was kind of or to the not to the Rams, sorry, even to the Eagles last year, it was kind of they had a chance to win that game, and it was a lot of coaching malpractice, and I think coaching malpractice is nearly unforgivable because you're not the ones that are making
Yeah.
the plays on the field to where the mistakes are made via, um, you know, errors or just
Mhm.
dominant plays from a defensive end or a cornerback jumping a route or
Yeah.
a brain fart from a QB, you're the one that's supposed to prepare better than anybody because your job is to be smart on occasions, knowing when to use timeouts, knowing when to kick field goals or to go for it on fourths. It's really not that hard, I don't think. You have to be a leader of men. And obviously, I'm
Yeah.
not a head coach. I don't think I'd be a good leader of men. I'm a 5'8", uh, you know, scrawny white dude. I think most of these guys are former quarterbacks or wide receivers, and they're very smart about football. But when they get into big moments, they choke. They stop listening to
Mhm.
the things that they listened to throughout the season. We
Yeah.
saw that, and sometimes it works. I mean, the Bears yesterday, to give them credit, they were gambling, and
Yeah.
sometimes you get hot. And Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, they were counting cards. Like they were guessing well. They were counting cards. They
Yeah.
kept betting and doubling down, and they hit. I mean, you go into the history books of that one fourth down throw where he is jump passing it and he hits behind both DBs, and I don't know who he was throwing it to. It was one of those two guys, right? He kind of was just throwing it up to a receiver. Was it DJ Moore that caught it? You could have told me he was throwing it to the other guy or him.
Yeah.
That that was amazing. That was an amazing play. It was very lucky, but it was amazing. It was one of the better throws of the year too.
Yeah.
And Loveland had a great game, and
Yeah.
for again, Caleb Williams, I think now he's getting overrated after probably getting overhated for a long time.
Yeah.
Coming into the year, his completion percentage is 58%. One of every four throws is basically a throwaway for him. He is not great at still playing within the scheme of the play. Um, in a Ben Johnson offense, he should be better. if he gets better, it's going to be scary because of how good Ben Johnson is at designing some of these plays. But I
Yeah.
think that this Bears team is clearly the luck will run out. It's very rare do we see a team just luck into a Super Bowl victory
Mhm.
or let alone a Super Bowl appearance. So, I mean, it's shitty for you as a fan of the Packers because of all the shit you've probably seen on social media and just
Yeah.
you just being disappointed because it's like these years are years, right? It's
Yeah.
years off of your life and you go on to next year and that's how you look at it. But it's also shitty because it's a rival. It's happened again. It's a coach. You keep
Yeah.
going and it's like how many times is if we keep them, is there a chance this changes? If I'm looking at the coaching landscape of who's available, I mean, had the Bills lost today, Sean McDermott gets fired. Oh, they'd celebrate if they're able to bring LaFleur in there. That's the thing. That's where I'm
Yeah.
like, is there a downgrade? I worry about like them getting
Yeah.
worse with a new coach, and that's kind of where I'm like I'm leaning towards them keeping them, but again, if you keep them, what are you getting out of it after next year if this happens again? And that's kind of where you would rather be early than late, and it just is
Yeah.
the injuries added up and all that for them, and I kind of yeah, so
I know
that's my
what
take on it.
LaFleur is. I know what he is. This team not gonna win a Super Bowl with LaFleur. That's it. That just is what it is. I know they had insane bad injury luck this year, and they lost a lot of good players. Like that's out of their control. I don't know if this team would have won a Super Bowl regard. Like I don't think that they would have won a Super Bowl no matter who was coaching this team this year. I just think that they had too many injuries,
Mhm.
and that's fine. I can live with that. I cannot live with losing a game where you have a 18-point lead at halftime to a division rival. Like you can't lose that. They had 5 games this year that they had 2-score leads in, and they lost all 5 of them. They lost to the Browns, where they had a 10-point lead. They lost to the Cowboys, they had a 9-point lead. They lost to the Bears twice when they had an
Massive
18
leads.
and
Yeah,
a
10 leads, yeah, 10-point
yeah,
leads.
and had a 10-point lead, and then there was one other game that they had lost that they had a 10-point
It was
lead in, and it's
Denver.
like this yeah, Denver, they were up by 9. That's just unacceptable, like, that can't happen. That just cannot happen. That just shows that the coach is coaching scared. I don't trust LaFleur in big moments. Maybe it's they bring in, Stefanski, I would be happy with, or Jeff Halfley, I'm don't love how he's coached this defense. Now, to be fair, he has had Keyshawn Nixon playing corner for him for a full season, and he lost Micah Parsons and Devontae Wyatt, and the defense fell in the toilet after that. Before the Devontae Wyatt and Parsons got hurt, they were a top 5 defense with Keyshawn Nixon starting. So I have to tip my hat to that. They were a fantastic defense. He gives me leader of men vibes. He does. I don't know what it is. He gives me the vibe that like the guys could rally around him. So that might be something that they look at as well. Other teams are looking at him for a head coaching position. So we'll see. We'll see what shakes out of it. I want them to move off of LaFleur. If they bring in somebody else, I hope that they hit on him. But I would rather try it now than waste another year of prime Micah Parsons, prime Jordan Love, prime Josh Jacobs, prime Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, all these guys who are fantastic players. They're going to be a year older. Like they're not getting any younger. They're not getting, they're in their prime right now. Matthew
Let
Golden
me
was
ask you this.
yeah.
I have an honest question. You're gonna say no right away.
Mhm,
For the Packers, this is a
mhm,
team that has a good roster. They need
mhm,
probably a cornerback or 2, maybe 3. They might need a whole new cornerback room, but that's free agency. You just literally just sign cornerbacks. You just throw money at corners, and that's
mhm,
it. And everything else is health dependent. You re-sign Dobbs if possible. If he wants too much money, that's okay. But that's it. Like it's health
mhm.
dependent. Is this not a team that you would say, hey, Bill Belichick? and I mean this genuinely. Like, that's a team where it's like, we're going to give you 3 years. You're old, but just the 3-year deal. Come in here. You're going to win 10 games a year minimum, 10
Mhm.
to 13 games a year. We just need your, or is he too old? But it's like, that's the perfect guy for this. You sign a good offensive coordinator. He can be young. He could be
Mhm.
even a retread higher where it's like just a experienced offensive mind
Yeah.
who can work with Jordan Love, Mike McCarthy if he doesn't get a head coaching job. I know he would not do that at Green Bay, but somebody in that sphere of
Yeah.
quarterback influence that understands quarterbacks, that's a perfect hire. Stefanski, that's fine too, but I'm saying like in general, you work in 3-year windows in the NFL, just do that.
Yeah.
Try to win one in 3 years. That's all you need to do. Don't be signing.
Yeah.
There's no hotshot young coaches now. Like the
No.
league's ate them up in the last couple of years. There's no Ben
Yeah.
Johnson out there. There's no Cohen. There's no Dave Canales. There's no McVay-esque person. The best guy probably out there, if you're really looking at it, is gonna be Mike McDaniels, and you don't want him. I already know you
No.
don't want to, and I don't think he wants to. Mike McDaniels, by the way, would be an amazing offensive coordinator there. So if you're doing Bill
Yeah.
Belichick, just bring Mike McDaniels.
Yeah.
Like,
I I would be
but
okay with
yeah,
Belichick as the head coach if I knew that we were gonna get a competent offensive coordinator who could maybe learn from Belichick and kind of take over for him once he retires after a couple of years.
there you go.
So,
That's all. That's what you want. So that's a genuine like. I think if he doesn't get reached out to interview for one of these jobs, then yeah, obviously he'll never coach in the NFL again. Because there's some jobs where I'm like, I'm looking at who might fill some of these, and yeah, it's Jeff Hafley, yeah, he was coaching Harbaugh. If they move off of, or sorry, he was coaching Keyshawn Nixon. I don't know why Harbaugh, but I'm like, Harbaugh's going to get a musical chair here. Stefanski might get a
yeah.
musical chair, and if LaFleur gets fired, he'll have his pick of a musical chair, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's Baltimore or whatnot. But you're basically going to just have coaches switch jobs because there's the talent just isn't there. Flores might get a job. He deserves one, but the lawsuit stuff. And then you're going to look at Jesse Minter from the Chargers has a chance at a job. And then
Mhm.
you really start going into just like Vance Joseph might get a third job.
Belichick
That's
and
like,
Daboll for the
yeah,
Packers.
talk
I
yourself into it.
love I would
Message
love
whoever's the
Belichick and Brian Daboll as my OC. Man, that I
yeah.
love
I
that.
just convinced you.
You
Um,
did.
so the morning game on Saturday, and then we're gonna do what are the other teams we barely talked about the Bears. Good win for the Bears. It just is this you know, there's a very good tweet, a very funny tweet that says, if you say it's a team Super Bowl, um, it's the maddest you've ever been, and there's definitely smoke coming out of your ears. So I don't want to be like that because I'm not that mad. I lost quite a bit of money on the Packers, so I am upset. But this does feel like their Super Bowl, the way that they were celebrating after winning that game. It's fine. This is a step forward in the right direction. Winning the division's huge in their first year, Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. If they lose next week to the Rams, they're playing the Rams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If they lose to the Rams, that's no issue. I'm just saying like they definitely celebrated like they just won they're going to the Super Bowl is what they celebrated like.
Yeah.
I watched the post game a little bit where they were chanting, all the fans stayed and they were chanting a whole bunch of stuff, grating cheese, uh calling Caleb Williams MVP. I mean, he had a terrible game. He had some great throws, but statistically that's not like, I guess all that matters is result. But the thing is, it felt like they got a little too high, and I think that there's a good chance that a crushing defeat happens based off of their uh their extreme highs, and they should be happy. They should be high, but that should be the fans reaction, not the team.
Yeah.
Even though it's a great comeback, it's still the wild card round. I don't know. I don't want to be like hey, don't be too happy, don't enjoy. But I do think that there be wary of teams, of gambling on teams where it's like they rode the mountain up too high. Now there's like a come down, especially if they
Yeah.
get off to a slow start. And they do get off to slow starts every game. It's hard to get that emotion back up, especially when Ben Johnson comes out and says, I talked to my team about the Falcons game, the Falcons Patriots Super Bowl, because they have two players from that game. One played for the Patriots, one played for the Falcons. They talked to the team. The Falcons player that talked to the team, why does he have to relive his PTSD of what happened in that game?
Yeah.
That must have been terrible for him. Yeah, we were up 28-3.
Things were going great.
That's
We
like
were about to start popping champagne on the sideline.
I think you could think of a few events in human history where where people do speaking tours based off their past trauma. I think this guy
Mhm.
might have a career doing that because obviously he told the team, we want to make other people feel like I felt. It's kind of where he got at the end of that speech, and I'm sure the Packers players. I feel for Jordan Love, of course, because of what you said. Yeah, he was lights out that game for most of it, and
He's so good.
yeah, he was great. And McManus, he should never kick a football again. He should hang
Jail.
up the cleats and he should he should get jail. Investigate his phone
Didn't he
for
sexually
gambling.
assault somebody on a plane? Can we reopen that investigation?
Let's look up Brandon McManus. I do think there's something up with him.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what
your
he got
team did
kicked in the
sign
butt.
him. I do think your team did sign him. Am I correct on that? They did give him a contract. That's he did have a lawsuit. In 2024, two flight attendants sued McManus, alleging that he had sexually assaulted them during a team chartered flight from Jacksonville to London in 2023 as the Jaguars were traveling to play two games in London. McManus denied the allegations. The lawsuit also alleged that the Jaguars committed gross negligence by failing to properly train McManus about inappropriate and sexual contact with flight staff. Supervise him. I mean, I think he was like 32 at the time. I think he should probably already have those skills. Supervise him on the flight. Adopt policies and procedures to protect flight staff. That's worth a lawsuit. Or enforce a zero tolerance policy regarding inappropriate behavior. Okay, yeah, they deserve to be sued too. There was insufficient evidence to support finding that McManus had violated the league's personal conduct policy, is what the NFL concluded in September 2024. That same month, the judge dismissed the women's lawsuit, saying the case did not rise to the exceptional criteria required for anonymity. The women then filed an amended complaint, this time using their names. In October 2024, upon being signed by Green Bay, the attorneys for both McManus and the accusers stated that the case was resolved.
So he
Settled.
paid him off.
Yeah, settled. Okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead and reopen that investigation. I think that there might be jail time that should be served for this.
Yeah, what did he do?
He grabbed them and was rubbing up against them and grinding up against them, apparently, is what the article says. Inappropriately.
Yeah, it's time for him to be out of the league.
Yeah. Get him out of here. No room for that. You know what? No room for that in this league, especially not when you're missing 3 kicks, 4 kicks in a game.
There's three kicks, but I mean, he basically missed every kick the last into the season.
Yeah. No
But
room for that.
yeah. First game of the weekend was Rams Panthers.
About him, we might as
And
well just bring in Justin Tucker.
yeah, exactly. Just bring Tucker back if you're gonna just excuse behavior. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Why did he get signed? Why did you guys sign
Because they got
him? What was
I
that?
don't know,
What the
because
hell? I forgot all
it got
about that. They
dismissed. Yeah, it got
I
dismissed.
mean, it got dismissed, and then they sued again, and then they resolved it because it got signed. We paid him money.
I'm gonna
Whatever.
sue him.
Okay. I mean,
Alright. Enough
we have a really good.
enough of his talk.
Yeah, yeah.
Skins, man.
He needs to get. Yeah. We talk about Rams and Panthers, and the game I just brought up was the regular season game. So I was gonna be like, wow, Bryce Young played well. Let me bring up the actual game that happened. Rams Panthers 34-31. And I watched this game, of course, rooting for the Panthers. Panthers had a real chance to win it. Stafford, I mean, his numbers in the scorebook look good. The box score, 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. And Bryce Young, 21 for 40, 264, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. this was a weird game. This was a really weird game, and
Mhm.
I think the Panthers, they lost this, and God, the Rams escaped by the skin of their teeth, legitimately.
Yeah.
And Stafford threw a pass there that Puka deflected. He played defensive back on a pass that he threw that would have ended their season. And that is going to be forgotten. And if the Rams win the Super Bowl, people will not remember that throw. But that was one of the worst throws he's thrown in his career, in a 17-year career that keeps being brought up. And he needs to thank Puka. He needs to give Puka 20% of his contract, I think, should be paid to Puka in either under the table payments or in whatever money he should give him outside this entire season, legitimately,
Yeah.
because the PR that's being done for Matthew Stafford after that game and this entire season is absurd. He did not play a good game, and everybody's all MVP like performance. He drove him downfield at the end, and that was an impressive drive that he
Yeah.
almost turned the ball over if not for Puka, and he threw a good touchdown pass, and he played well in the first drive of the game and the second drive of the game. But I there was times where I thought they were going to lose the game,
Oh, yeah,
and
for sure.
I just I don't know. I've tried to make this comparison way too many times on this podcast, so I don't want to go long on this, but it just feels like every team in this league is beatable by every other team, except when you get to the very, very bottom of the barrel of the league, except if you
Yeah.
talk week one. But like in a genuine sense where I'm
Yeah,
like, I don't think the 49ers can win the Super Bowl, and I don't think the Steelers can win the Super Bowl.
I
And that's
agree.
about it. I think every other team can make a run and just get lucky or get lucky matchups that benefit their side and exploit like weaknesses that they'll play against, or
Mhm.
have a hot performance from a quarterback or a bad defense matchup
Yeah.
against. And we have a chance to have a Josh Allen who's the best player in football, but a terrible team playing the Super Bowl against a um, Seahawks team. And I swear everybody's gonna be saying, "Here's Josh Allen's crown jewel achievement. Here's his chance to win the Super Bowl," and he's gonna go through the following teams. He's gonna go through Trevor Lawrence, Bo
Mhm.
Nix, and C.J. Stroud are the three quarterbacks he's gonna play to get there, and then he's gonna play Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl, and it's gonna be like, "This is his crown jewel achievement." I'm like, no, come on." But
Yeah.
he's gonna lose that Super Bowl if he plays that because the Seahawks are gonna run all over that team,
Yeah.
and that's the issue. It's like we gotta know matchups here. We have a chance to have a Drake May Super Bowl against Caleb Williams, 2 second-year quarterbacks because of how the Bears win games. Now that's luck. That is all luck. That's gambling. That's literally just saying like, "Hey, we're gonna hit on 19," and because the dealer's showing a face card, and we need a two or an ace, and they're gonna get a couple twos in the next couple games. But that's what they've done. So
Yeah.
with the Rams, and that's kind of getting off topic, but with the Rams Panthers game, the Panthers could have won that game very easily because the Rams had a down game. They're injured. That defense sucks. Stafford played good enough to win, and I'm not trying to be a hater on Stafford, but like if he plays that game against anybody else in the NFC playoffs that is left, and I guess there's 4 teams left, so you can go through them. There's only 2
Yeah.
games that they can play. They're going to get blown out. I know he has good numbers because the end of
Yeah.
the game, like it looks good on in a box score. So if you box score watch, it's like, wow, he had a good game. Somebody that watched if you're a ball watcher and you watch every snap of that game, he looked terrible.
Yeah.
Like for the mass majority, that last drive he looked great, and then the very first drive he looked great. But and that
Yeah.
first drive, that's all McVay, and we have to be honest about that. That's how it was with the Goff. Goff scored every first drive with him too, basically. He's just scripted everything. The first 13 plays are all McVay.
Yeah. I mean, the Rams, they beat the Panthers. The Panthers, I know I picked the Rams in our thing to cover the 10.5 because I really didn't think the Panthers are a legitimate playoff team. I still don't think that they were, and the Rams played a horrendous game and they still managed to win. That just kind of goes to show where the Panthers are. I think the Panthers could be a decent team down the road. I mean, there's something there with Bryce Young. I don't know if he's going to be the long term guy there, but I think he at least has the opportunity to run it back with the Panthers for next year. But yeah, I mean, the Rams, I don't know. There's no excuse for this performance. Last time they played in Charlotte and they lost to the Panthers, you can say, you know what? They came in and they were overlooking this team. They were, not prepared. And they got their lunch money taken. They come back here a month and a half later, a month later to play them again, and it still just seemed like, what are you doing? How are you not preparing for this game? There's no way, you can go into a game saying, we're better. We're the Rams. They're the Panthers. They have a losing record, and waltz into a game with that mentality to a team that already beat you at the same place. You can't do that. And that's what it felt like they did again. I don't know if the Rams are just not peaking at the right time, if they peaked too early in the season and now they're on a little bit of a downswing, because I think there is something to be said for teams getting hot at the right time. And it doesn't really feel like the Rams are hot right now.
Yeah, and I mean, like again, we're about to go into the where do this team goes from here, and
Hmm.
right, like in probably 1 or 2 minutes. McVay is a top 3 coach in football, and he's
Hmm.
number 1. It's him and Reed, and then it's Vrabel, I think, and then you have a ton of people you could put after that in that zone too. I don't think Vrabel's, like, alone in that tier. It's the first tier
Yeah.
is Reed and McVay, and then there's a
Hmm.
gap, and then I think Vrabel has to coach into that tier, but I do think he's in the second tier for sure, but I think he's at the top of the second tier. I'm trying to
I
say
agree.
McVay is great, but even in a game like that, you're up, what was it, 14 to 3, 13 to 3? I don't know what the score exactly was, and they go for it on 4th and 3 after
Hmm.
Bryce Young turns the ball over. Um, and just take the points. You don't need to kill shot him there. Do you just want
Yeah.
are you trying to bring in Jimmy G? Like, you don't need to kill shot him. Take the
Yeah.
points. You're the better team. Sit on the lead.
Yeah.
And
You're on the
it was
road.
a
Take the
bad
points.
yeah, it's a bad coaching decision, and I understand the EV of going for it. Another Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. Today, they went for it on 4th and goal from the 2-yard line. Uh, Herbert got chased out of the pocket, threw the ball basically away. It was not a real attempt at throwing a touchdown pass. And then the next time they have basically the same situation. I think it might have been 1 yard further back. It was 4th and 3. They take the points. Now, after you went for it before, you're supposed to go for it again because the chance of
Yeah.
getting it is like 49 or 52%. So you're technically supposed to go for it. Now, the gut feel is probably like, wow, he got chased out of the pocket. I don't really want to have that happen again because we're going to come
Yeah.
away from getting to the goal line twice, 0 points. You have to go for it again there. But
Yeah.
you're now that's out coaching yourself. You're outsmarting yourself. You had no points in that game. I'm trying to just relate the two. With McVay, you're up 10 points already. You're gonna take a two more. You're already a 2-score lead up, but you're now up 13 instead of just a touchdown field goal. You're now 2 touchdowns up, basically.
Hmm.
I don't know what he was doing, and they won the game.
Yeah.
So bygones are bygones. Hypotheticals are hypotheticals. But you lose this game if you're McVay. This is a bad playoff loss. And
Yeah.
McVay gets a ton of credit because he has a Super Bowl and he's still really young and he's been to 2, but he got sunned by Bill Belichick in that Super Bowl, and he barely beat Zach Taylor in the other. And outside of those 2, making 2 Super Bowls is very impressive, but there's been talk about Kyle Shanahan getting fired if if they would have lost today. There's been talk about moving off of Kyle Shanahan after that Super Bowl where they lost, the second Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So people make 2 Super Bowls all the time, and they get moved off of. So I just
It's
don't
true.
wanna I don't wanna be too pro McVay, even though he is the best coach in football, I think, him and Reed.
Yeah.
And, yeah, pretty much those are the thoughts of those games. The Rams are great. But you're
Yeah.
right about the peaking too early. They definitely did peak too early. I think that's
Yeah.
clear as day. Um, moving on, where do they go from here? Do you want to start Chargers or do you want to start Panthers? You want to go reverse or
Let's go back down the ladder. Let's start with the Panthers.
Panthers? I know you said run it back with Bryce and Canales. That's going to be what they do.
Hmm.
I think they're in a purgatory where it's not a great place to
Yeah.
be because Bryce Young played just good enough that you're like, we'll do one more year. And this is where you're at to where you're going to give him a 5-year deal worth $250 million. And there is probably a 10% chance that contract is actually going to be a good contract. He's going to ask for Dak Prescott money and Trevor Lawrence money. You're going to have to counter with Daniel Jones money, basically.
Yeah.
And he's going to want a lot of years. You're going to say, can we do 3? You might settle on 4. And you pick up that 5th-year option. That's fine. But it's like every single
Or
time
did
he
pick up
does
the
the
5th-year option. I'm reading right now. I guess they did pick up his 5th-year option,
yeah.
on January 10th. They picked it up yesterday, I guess.
Yeah. No, they picked it up, and then they'll extend him in the offseason is what probably happens. So he'll play on the 5th-year option. They'll extend him for 4 years, 5 years. But it's like, is he's fine. Like, you don't want to be in this spot though, because he is clearly not in the tier of quarterbacks that is going to win a playoff game on a second contract when he's getting paid 8% of the cap or 10% of the cap, whatever it is, when he gets one of those mega contracts.
Yeah.
And that's where you can get something out of him draft capital wise and trade for him or trade him to somebody. Even if it's in division. I mean, there's teams in his division that need a quarterback. The Falcons. But no team does that, but I'm saying like that's the team you could do it for. There's other teams that need quarterbacks. The Cardinals won't take a shorter guy, but you know what I'm saying because of
Raiders.
Kyler. But Raiders, don't even
7.
go for the first pick this year. Trade for next year's pick
Mhm.
because they're going to be bad next year too. It's not like it's a 1-year rebuild. They're not in the Patriots, Bears, and Jaguars zone where it's like this is going to be a 1-year thing for the Raiders. I don't think anybody sees that coming. But yeah, but that's stupid. That's all hypothetical. That's not happening. They're gonna run it back with Bryce Young. They have good bones where it's like they have some decent players on the line.
Mhm.
I like Canales. I think he's actually a pretty good coach. We've made a lot of fun of him for being abstinent from porn and alcohol and all that because it's like he wrote the book about that and it's like
Yeah.
you're a head coach in the NFL.
Yeah.
What's this about? Don't be writing books about that. Write books about how to X's and O's,
Yeah.
not not office hoes and CEOs. But the 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 thing is, I just am I kind of am feeling like this is a team where they could still win the division next year because who knows what Atlanta does? Who knows? I can't believe Tampa stayed with Todd Bowles. I cannot
Todd
believe
Bowles is
that.
still employed, so that division wide open.
Yeah. And then the Saints are going to be fine because Tyler Shuck looks fine, but they need to make some moves. But that division has 4 teams of mediocrity that are battling for
Yeah.
basically they're all trying to go 8-9, 9-8, 7-10, 10-7. That's it. That's their peak and their valleys. That's what
Yeah.
every team's best is. Every team's worst is lower than 7-10. But like you can see every team going 7-10 to 10-7. That's it.
Yeah.
Like you could see the whole jumbo up there in that division, and the only team in there that has a high peak is Tampa. But we're getting into the point where it's like
Not with
Todd
Bowles.
Bowles is like a tumor that keeps coming back.
Yeah.
It's like you keep getting it radiated off, and it's on stage 4, but it keeps going up like just a little bit more where it spreads and it's getting bigger, and it's like, God, what is Todd Bowles doing back?
Yeah, he
Is
just
this is
won't
this
go
is
away.
this is this it? Is this the time it actually gets into the bloodstream? Um, the what do you have to say about the Panthers outside of that? Anything else?
No, I
I
mean,
like
I
hating on
think
Todd
that
Bowles.
yeah, I think that They are gonna run it back with Bryce Young. They're gonna end up being in purgatory. They're gonna be battling it out at the top of that garbage division for the next couple of years. That's just where they're gonna be. It's their ceiling. Their floor is, the wheels fall off and they win 4 games, but, they're gonna kinda be right around that 8 or 9 win mark. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, okay, moving on. We did the Packers, unless you have
No,
anything else to add.
we already kinda talked about that.
Okay. Um, Jaguars. The Jaguars end the season at 13-5. Let me actually go to Sport Track for these teams because that'd be better, right? With you, tell me what do you think they should do without looking up their salary stuff.
Without looking up any type of salary stuff, I think you gotta run it back with everything. They started to get a little bit of momentum at the end of the season with Jacoby Myers, so I think you gotta make sure that he's still on the roster next year. Trevor Lawrence, get a haircut. That's really the only change they need for the offseason is Trevor Lawrence needs to get a haircut. Everything else, I think that they're a good team. Um, Hopefully Travis Hunter is healthy and can play a full season. I don't know if you want him at wide receiver or at corner or what you want, but I think you got to figure out one or the other for him to play because clearly, he got hurt his rookie season. Maybe it's just injury luck or whatever, but not no more of this training at 2 positions nonsense. Figure out where you're going to play him. If you're going to play him at corner, play him at corner. That's fine. You just overdrafted a corner. It is what it is. Cut your losses and stick him out there. Or if you think he's going to be a receiver, stick him at receiver and quit messing around that he's going to play defense. Maybe if you want him to come in and play a goal line special package or something goofy, but quit quit this nonsense of him playing both ways of the ball. They need to
I
grow up
agree
as a
fully.
franchise. Haircut
You know what?
and mature.
Yeah, I agree. They have $5 million in cap space, which is 23rd in the league, but they do have some movable options here where I'm trying to get into where they can cut people. Um, where's the cuttable salary?
Again,
Not
I
really
like
much
I like
much movement.
I like the roster. I do. I think that they're a good roster. I just think that they need to grow up a little bit as a franchise. Like I know we make jokes about Trevor Lawrence cutting his hair, but like in all seriousness, they do need to grow up a little bit. They have a really young GM. They have a really young head coach. Trevor Lawrence is a really young quarterback. I think it's time. It's like okay, let's let's step up. Let's be adults. We're not gonna keep being the young guys the young hot shots on the block. Let's grow up and let's be, you know, a serious contending football team. So that's what I think they need to do.
Yeah. No, I again agreed. Um, I have no real serious thoughts on the Jaguars. I just think that people that reporter saying you'll be back next year, it's like that's gonna be a curse.
Hmm.
Is where they don't win the division next year or ever again with Liam Cohen.
Yeah.
Because I think the only person that's ever said anything correct about being back or not back is Dan Campbell after the NFC Championship game, where he's like, "Yeah, this might be the last time a lot of people ever played in this game." And guess what's happened to the Lions since?
Yeah.
Out in the divisional round, didn't make the playoffs, and
Hmm.
seems like he has more of a finger on the pulse of actual NFL stuff than a random reporter does from the White House press corps. But anyways, moving on to the Philadelphia Eagles, they are 15th in cap allocations next year. Um, they can get rid of Dallas Goddard, who has a $20 million void year. Brandon Graham's going to be gone. He's 38 years old. He has $5 million that'll come off.
Hmm.
Their punter has 1.5 million. They might keep him. Aziz Oljulari will stay. He has 2 million, so he'll be back. And Reed Blankenship will be back with 1 million. A lot of the other people are going to be gone, but they're lower on the list. Um,
I
the
think. they need to look to uh, getting rid of Kevin Petula, which that's going to be an awkward conversation for Nick Sirianni, considering Petula's kind of been with him every step of his coaching career in some capacity, and I think he's going to have to move off of him, or they might move off of Sirianni as well. I don't know. I don't think so. He's 1 year removed from a Super Bowl. I know Philly, you know, their fans are very
That's a tough
impatient.
question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted like that's a tough question, but yes, keep going.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm saying like that's kind of where they're at is like, are you gonna be able to just move off of the OC? Are you gonna be able to move off? Are you moving off of Sirianni? What are you gonna do? That's kind of the question. What do you do with Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, I mean, so this is a team that you've been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, 2 Super Bowls in 4 years now,
Mhm.
and the important thing is a 1-1.
True.
And again, that's all you want out of a team, even if you think that you should win more and you should be better and you get pissed if you win 1 out of whatever years. You look at teams like the Bills and the Ravens, they have 0 with Lamar and Josh Allen. They've been to 0.
Mhm.
And I mean, they've been logjammed because of Mahomes, but they've won a Super Bowl and they've been to 2. And you gotta just be okay with that, knowing that you can't be okay with that because Philly fans aren't rational, neither are Boston fans, neither are any sports fans. But I'm saying you 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 need to be understanding that your franchise is the 3rd most successful franchise in pro football since 2010 after the Chiefs
Yeah.
and Patriots. And that's what it is. I mean, like that there's no other two-time champion besides those other teams that won 3,
Yeah.
unless I'm missing somebody that's won 2, but I don't think there is.
Nope.
And, they've been to more than 2, they've been to 3, and it's like you also beat I mean, this is the other regime, but you beat Tom Brady and you beat, Mahomes in Super Bowls.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
um, I think though, there is a reset that needs to happen. You thought this window was open longer. I mean, the last 3 years, this team has been the best team in football. Um, close to it, it's been the Chiefs, them, and the Ravens have been the 3 best teams in
Yeah.
football. And you lose in the Super Bowl when Jalen Hurts plays so well against Mahomes, and the next year you come in thinking we're gonna mosey on our way back. You kinda get upset early on, and then last year you dominate the league, and so you think you're gonna come in and dominate the league again, and you just don't, and, you know, a lot of problems in the locker room, and you kind of have to go into the offseason saying, do you think we can recapture the magic from last year, or do you think we have to move on?" And it was they lost all their talent and their coordinators from the first time they made the Super Bowl. They rebuilt back in. Kellen Moore is an amazing offensive coordinator. We see what he's doing in New Orleans and how he
Yeah.
turned that franchise around 1 year in. And maybe the idea this is rude to Sirianni because Sirianni's a fine head coach, but it's like maybe the good thing would have been to move off of Sirianni for Kellen Moore. And it seems like a lot of these teams have to come to grips with who is actually the magic sauce maker for these
Mhm.
franchises. And
Yeah.
I think too often we're seeing teams hold on to the old guy who's been there for a while.
Yeah.
And what happens is they think that they can recreate the fire, and it turns out that it's actually the young coordinator that then goes somewhere else and is good. And we see it in Baltimore with how McDonald got poached by Seattle, and now they're the favorite to win the Super Bowl. We're seeing it with the Saints. We see it with how not a team getting poached, but we see how in um, Kansas City, how they lost a lot of their coaching staffs to other coaching staffs looking for new opportunities, and Matt Nagy's killed the offense, whether it be from
Mhm.
Mahomes just playing more conservative with too high or whatever. But I'm just saying in general, a lot of these teams, Dayball leaving Josh Allen, and
Yeah.
the teams got better, but like it just is the team's been as good, but it's like, well, who's the sauce maker? Is it McDermott? Is it Dayball? Is it Joe Brady? Who is it
Yeah,
for the Bill? And who is it for the Eagles? Who is it for the Ravens? Who is it for all these teams? And that's kind of the argument. Do you want the play caller or do you want the institution? That's when
yeah.
I was debating Vrabel or Ben Johnson for who I wanted as a Patriots coach last year. And I think I said I wanted Ben Johnson. Now I think you couldn't go wrong with either, but just with the Eagles, Sirianni called plays before. They gave him the position after Doug Peterson. He's from that tree. And it's clear that they probably should have said, hey, Sirianni, you can't do it after you win a Super Bowl, but they should have said, hey, Sirianni, how about we trade you for Kellen Moore? Because Kellen Moore already took the job with New Orleans. But
Yeah,
like, that's kind of, it seems like Kellen Moore was the sauce.
I
That's sort
agree.
of the
And I mean, that's also the offensive line that they had too, like their ability to run the ball. Now you can say maybe Kellen Moore helped them be a little bit more creative with how they ran the ball, but they didn't have Lane Johnson, they lost Mekhi Becton. It's like now that this offense isn't as able to be the run first offense that they were last year, no juice. They have nothing. Saquon was average. He's like an average running back all year. And that's crazy because he's fantastic. He's a great talent, but I don't know. Maybe it was a lack of creativity or something. But
completely poached. Like, and this is the thing, if you can't draft every year consistently, you need to hit
uh
on one of two drafts, and that's it. You one or two drafts has to be a slam dunk, or every draft you need at least two impact players.
yeah,
And it's gonna be there will be books written about the run that New England had in the 2000s and 2010s because of like the fact that they were able to keep it together and win that long. Because the second longest streak of winning divisions is Kansas City, and it's done now, and it probably looks like
yeah,
it's done next year. And Buffalo was third, I think, in that time, and it's done now. And it's hard to roster build, and the Eagles look like they're set up to be good for a long time because they have a good roster builder, and their GM is great. But I mean, they're getting poached all their good players because you can't
yeah.
continue to pay all these people. So you miss one draft, that's okay. Two drafts, not okay. And so it's like that's the thought that creeps into my mind, you know? It's like, wow. Um,
hmm
they're the interesting one because I think there's gonna be movement. I don't think AJ Brown's back there next year. Jalen Hurts will be. I mean, he signed the 5-year deal, but like they have to have the short leash with him at this point. They did it with Carson Wentz. They signed Carson Wentz and then they drafted Jalen Hurts. And I think that's how they have to be. I don't know if it's this year because the quarterback class isn't great, but
Yeah,
they have to be looking at it. They have to be stealth scouting, you know? It's a
for
stealth
sure.
scouting mission where it's like, we have to look at some of these guys and say, "Hmm, maybe they take a flyer on Carson Beck in the late rounds," because obviously I don't think he's anything. Maybe Chambliss, you know, in later rounds, and that's the thing, it's because Tanner McKee's not the future, but it's you take a flyer on a guy in the 5th or 6th round that you really like, that you give like a 4th or 3rd round grade on and say, "If Jalen Hurts keeps playing this way, we move
Yeah,
because we do not wanna be stuck in mediocrity because this guy is not a franchise guy."
for sure.
So,
I agree.
that was a very long preamble, I'm sorry. Chargers will be quicker. Chargers have a ton of salary cap space,
Yeah.
to the
They
point
need to get
where
healthy. That's what they need. They
yeah.
need to get healthy and they need wide receivers. They should be going after AJ Brown, actually. Like that's a team that they should be going after AJ Brown aggressively. And yeah, they just need to get healthy on their offensive line.
And they need defensive talent too.
Yeah.
I don't think I can't name a single cornerback on their roster. I know Derwin James is a hybrid player where he plays corner and safety, but he's a safety.
Mhm.
They need corners. Um they probably need to get younger on the defensive line. Like Khalil Mack is their best pass rusher still, and he's great. He's probably a Hall of Famer, but I mean, we're dealing now with Joey Bosa's and Von Miller's and Khalil Mack's, and it's like that's a little old. They probably need to get younger at the pass rush. Offensive line,
Mhm.
it's all about youth. They've drafted a lot of receivers. Lad McConkey was an early second round pick. Quentin Johnston was a first round pick. Keenan Allen is still is now and again um, their number one pass target basically in big situations, and he is old. He's in his 30s, so they do need to go after a number one that is not pretty much a faster Wes Welker that's taller, and it's
Yeah.
not just because he's wide. He plays a faster Wes Welker. Um, and Lad McConkey's good, but I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of things there that they have. It's they had an unlucky health season, probably even more
Yeah.
so than your Packers, actually, which I think those were the
Yeah.
2 teams that had the worst health luck, and 49ers are in there every year, but that's because the conspiracy theories are swirling with them, with their electronic fields. But,
Yeah.
we're not getting into the RFK stuff here. The the Chargers are easier. They have a lot of money. They have draft capital. They have a quarterback, they have a head coach, they have a running back, they have receivers, they have a lot of defensive players. They have an offensive line. They have 2 of the best tackles in football. You're more worried about Rashawn Slater than Joe Wald coming back because of the PCL and everything, but with modern medicine, I don't think any injury is actually that worrisome anymore unless you have it suffered at an old age. So, old
Yeah.
age being 35, 33 plus, 34 plus. So, I think everything will be fine, but and I'm gonna be honest with you, barring anything crazy happening, as in, like, Mahomes just being bionic next year, like, in the preseason, like, he's like, "Yeah, my knee's 100%," and they trade for 3 receivers and their offensive line's rebuilt with, like, picks that are just, like they basically are the Monstars. I'm taking the Chargers to win that division next year. That's without a question. I think they'll
Yeah.
be the best team in the division next year, but I do believe that they have an easy fix. Um, Protect Herbert, get another pass catcher, probably sign the or attempt to sign whoever the best pass rusher is on the market, and that's the quick fix for them. And I think they're gonna be right there next year where they can be squarely in the running. The goal next year is you have to with Herbert, with his age and everything, the goal next year has to be probably championship game. It's not winning a playoff game. That's over. Like, it has to be getting at least 2 playoff wins.
Yeah. I agree
That
with that. They
yeah.
need to start winning playoff games.
Yeah, and if you lose them,
Not
it has
fun.
to be a Josh Allen way to lose them, where it's like you're losing to clearly the better team, but you're at least playing up to par. Like, it's not
Mhm.
just you throwing it's not just you squandering the moment. You have to be putting up 30 points, and you're losing 33-30. It can't be
Yeah.
the what happened tonight, what happened against the Texans, and or the comeback loss where you just have to put up 3 points in the second half or hold the ball. So, they're the easiest team because I think they have the least problems. They also had the worst, most embarrassing result tonight or out of this entire week. The Packers' loss was the worst loss, but they had the most embarrassing loss. So they need to hit the showers and get back, and all these teams do. But this was a long podcast, so I know you have to work tomorrow, so I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
Um,
Got playoff week, gotta make sure we cover the details on these games. These are big games. All the games mattered this week.
yeah, and next week they get even
All
more important.
I know.
I look at headlines. I had to battle back.
Mm.
You know how this is gonna end, right? You know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be a bankroll bet.
Yeah.
I already made one in my head, so okay. Anyways, we will be back on Thursday with the divisional round predictions where we will have a full slate of games set up. Um, Not the same common faces that we've seen the last couple of years. So it is nice to have some new faces in this slate, but also um, still some of the best players are in this, and I'm excited. I'm excited my team's still alive, and I it's good to be back in this spot to where I'm able to talk about my team not in a retrospect of who are they going to draft, who are they going to hire, where do they go from here, but
Yeah.
happy that they won and looked good and the defense looked good and all that. So uh, just want to tip the hat to Drake May getting it done and mm, being the only being the only favorite to cover, right?
Yeah. Only
Were
favorite to
they? I
cover.
think they were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good teams win. What do great teams
Yeah.
do?
covered.
Wasn't just a schedule. So, okay, Darren, we will be back, and we'll talk about if the Patriots' schedule can win another game against the over 500 team, or if they can do that again. I don't know. We'll see.
Mhm.
So, we'll talk in a few days, and Greg will be here. I think
Yes.
he's Miranda or somewhere. He's doing something Italian somewhere.
Yeah, something.
So, salute to
As
you, my buddy.
always,